Hi, everyone. I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C., and just never fit in. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in order to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher, corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts, American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations. Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest, and the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents have to work in order to simply survive. And today, many in my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart. I ran for Congress in 2020 and have fought every single day believing that Make America Great Again meant America first. I have one of the most conservative voting records in Congress, defending the First Amendment, Second Amendment, unborn babies because I believe God creates life at conception, and I love to fight for the little guy. Strong, safe borders, I have fought hard for that. I've fought against COVID tyrannical insanity and mandated mass vaccinations, and I've never voted to fund foreign wars with your hard-earned tax dollars. However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown, wrongly, resulting in the House not working for the entire time, and we are entering campaign season, which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign re-election mode is turned on in the House of Representatives. During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass the plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster. But instead, America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle on television every single day. My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, like calling for a new census counting Americans only to draw new districts, making English the official language of the U.S., making it a felony to medically trans a minor, and other bills like eliminating capital gains taxes on the sale of your primary home and eliminating H-1B visas, they all sit collecting dust. That's how it is for most members of Congress bills. The Speaker never brings them to the floor for a vote. Many common Americans are no longer easily convinced by paid political propaganda spokespersons and consultants on TV and paid shills on social media obediently serving with cult-like conviction to force others to swallow the political party talking points. Because they know how much credit card debt they have. They know how much their bills have gone up over the past 5 years. They actually do their own grocery shopping and know food costs too much. Their rent has increasingly gone up and up. They have been outbid by corporate asset managers too many times when they put in an offer to buy a house. They have been laid off after being forced to train their visa-holding replacement. The college degree they were told to earn only left them in debt with no big six-figure salary. They see more homeless people than ever on their own community streets. They can't afford health insurance or practically any insurance, and they just aren't stupid. These are the people I represent and love because that is who all of my family and friends are, common Americans. I've been blessed to represent the 14th District of Georgia for 5 years. The district is filled with some of the most wonderful, kind-hearted, God-fearing, patriotic, hardworking people you will ever meet. Good, regular, common Americans. I've worked hard to bring taxpayer dollars back home to help district needs. I impeached Biden's Secretary of Homeland after watching my constituents die as he facilitated dangerous open border invasion into America. And I led the effort to defund hard-left politically biased NPR and PBS and the corrupt USAID, and I did that as chair of the DOJ subcommittee. I have fought harder than almost any other elected Republican to elect Donald Trump and Republicans to power. I traveled the country for years. I spent millions of my own money. I missed precious time with my family that I can never get back. And I showed up in places like outside the New York courthouse in Collect Pond Park against a raging leftist mob as Trump faced Democrat lawfare. Meanwhile, most of the establishment Republicans who secretly hate him and who stabbed him in the back and never defended him against anything have all been welcomed in right after the election. And I will never forget the day I had to leave my mother's side as my father had brain surgery to remove cancerous tumors in order to fly to Washington, D.C. to defend President Trump and vote no against the Democrats' second impeachment in 2021. My poor father and my poor mother, it was way too much for all of us. Through it all, I never changed or went back on my campaign promises and only disagreed in a few areas, like my stance against H-1Bs replacing American jobs, AI state moratoriums, debt-for-life 50-year mortgage scams, standing strongly against all involvement in foreign wars, and demanding the release of the Epstein files. Other than that, my voting record has been solidly with my party and the president. Loyalty should be a two-way street, and we should be able to vote our conscience and represent our district's interests because our job title is literally representative. America First should mean America First and only Americans first, with no other foreign country ever being attached to America First in our halls of government. Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for. However, while yes, hurtful, my heart remains filled with joy, my life is filled with happiness, and my true convictions remain unchanged because my self-worth is not defined by a man, but instead by God who created everything in existence. You see, I have never valued power, titles, or attention in spite of all the wrong assumptions about me. I do not cling to those things because they are meaningless and empty traps that hold too many people in Washington. I believe in term limits and do not think Congress should be a lifelong career or an assisted living facility. My only goal and desire has ever been to hold the Republican Party accountable for the promises it makes to the American people and put America first. And I have fought against Democrats' damaging policies like the Green New Deal, wide open, deadly, unsafe border policies, and the trans agenda on children and against women. With that has brought years of non-stop, never-ending personal attacks, death threats, lawfare, ridiculous slander and lies about me that most people could never withstand even for a single day. It has been unfair and wrong, not only to me, but especially to my family, but it's been wrong to my district as well. I have too much self-respect and dignity. I love my family way too much, and I do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president that we all fought for, only to fight and win my election while Republicans will likely lose the midterms, and in turn be expected to defend the president against impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars against me and tried to destroy me. It's all so absurd and completely unserious. I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never ever relate to real Americans, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well. There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. When common American people realize and understand that the political industrial complex of both parties is ripping this country apart, that not one elected leader like me is able to stop Washington's machine from gradually destroying our country, and instead the reality is that they, common Americans, the people, possess the real power over Washington, then I'll be here by their side to rebuild it. Until then, I'm going back to the people that I love, to live my life to the fullest as I always have, and I look forward to a new path ahead. I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026, and I look forward to seeing many of you again sometime in the future. May God bless you all, and may God bless America.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Joshua Michael, Non-Compliant America. Thank you for joining us today. Today is November 22nd, 2025. It is with great peril to announce that I believe that the MAGA movement is dead. And the Republican Party has absolutely fallen on their sword. They've capitulated to the outside lobby groups, the never-Trumpers, the neocons, and Trump is involved with that. Trump has moved so far away from the party that people, the most loyalist supporter of Trump, so much so when it was inconvenient, so much so when all this attacks and everything that was surrounding it, he has now come out and responded to Marjorie Taylor's resignation. What is happening? What is going on with the world? What is I feel like the same thing that's happening to the MAGA movement is exactly what happened to the Democrats when Robert F. Kennedy moved over and became an independent, Tulsi Gabbard. And they famously said that I didn't leave the party left me. And so the same thing is happening right now with the Republicans and the MAGA movement, which has been the grassroots base. And I feel like they've absolutely infiltrated it and decimated whatever was left, whatever remnant was left of any representation that we would have in office. Marjorie Taylor was such a wedge against the neocons. She was such an active, outspoken representative that held and drew those hard lines in office. And like she said, we've had the majority in the Senate, in the House, and the presidency. And the amount of things that are not getting done is preposterous. But this leads me back to Trump's first administration. There was always an ongoing theme of, is Trump controlled opposition? Does he mean well? That was always the question in the back of my mind. What was his real intentions? And the reason you would ask that is be like, Josh, he did great. The economy was good. Gas prices were down. Things were booming. Things were going great. In that sense, absolutely, it was. But at the same time, remember what was happening between all of the different states, the rise of Antifa, the rise of Black Lives Matter. He was never hitting them at the nail of addressing them directly and doing what he needed to do as the commander-in-chief to counter that. He kind of let the mice run around and set up these clandestine organizations. Now, granted, he's just one man, but he's a very powerful man, supposedly the most powerful man in the world. So he could have done more, but he kind of let the left and let the Democrats and the radicalization of the left grow and grow and grow, which eventually led to the Proud Boys assembling, the Three Percenters, the Oath Keepers, everybody else that was kind of combating against them. But he didn't come to defend them. He didn't come to defend the January 6ers that were locked up for years. Up until he became president, he didn't even speak out against it. So who is Trump really? And what does that mean for the future of America? Are we going to go into a regional-based country and have all this real civil war? I don't know. We'll be right back. Joshua Michael, tune in. Welcome back. Second segment. Previous segment, I was playing Marjorie Taylor Greene. I want to read what Mr. Trump, the supposed commander-in-chief of this country, who's supposed to have our back, who's supposed to not be a politician, who's supposed to be of the people, for the people, by the people, enact God, invoke God within the community. He's talking about he's got the highest poll numbers of his political career right now. He just posted this 5 hours ago. I've gotten the highest poll numbers of my political career while my great work on the economy has not yet been fully appreciated. What great work. There's more and more people living paycheck to paycheck than ever before. We're on the brink of a giant financial housing crisis. Food prices have not gone down. Food prices are through the roof. Everybody's struggling. There's nothing. You got to account for inflation. What freaking bubble is he living in right now to state that he's got the highest poll numbers? I guarantee you they're the lowest poll numbers. They're the lowest poll numbers. Everybody's leaving. But is this part of a plan? Has this always been the plan? Has he been controlled opposition? Because essentially Trump hijacked the Tea Party movement. Trump hijacked all the great grassroots movements that are going on. And now he's just kind of sitting on top of everything, pretending to be the voice, pretending to have everybody's back, pretending that he's the man in the arena doing all this great work. And there has been a fermenting swell of grassroots, great grassroots movement within the medical community, the education community, within the Second Amendment community, all of these things. And Trump comes roaring in on a white horse in 2015 and basically became the face and the topic of conversation. He's been in the news for 9 years, 10 years now. Every single day, it's Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump that. Everything is correlated and or connected to Trump. He has essentially stolen the valor of the millions of people that are just simply trying to restore truth, justice, transparency, all the things that he promised. But he never brought in General Flynn to his second administration. That's a huge red flag. He hasn't been doing and listening to all the great work that Ivan Ranklin's been doing on the deep state mortar, the people that actually have the receipts on who to go after, how to go after it, the strategies tied into combating in this war and takeover of the United States. He's been nibbling around the edges as far as action goes. Now, sometimes he says great things. Sounds like he's over the target. Sounds like there's movement happening. He brought in Elon Musk on Doge. Doge uncovered everything, published tons, thousands and thousands of pages of all the government corruption, where all the taxpayer money was going, and why is our deficit so out of whack? It's because of all the spending. It's all the money that's just going nowhere, which we then learn is going back into the Republicans' pockets and the Democrats in Congress. And whatever agencies or organizations or nonprofits that they set up and spin to. It's a giant government grift. And we don't want that. People are sick of that crap. They're absolutely sick of it, which then leads me to, again, why I think it would be so powerful if we had a national day of everybody just stop paying taxes. Just don't pay taxes anymore. There should be a real movement around that. We shouldn't have to pay taxes if we don't have accurate representation on where the taxes are going and what they're being spent for. We don't have accurate representation. Most of the congressional people in Congress are dual citizens of Israel. And I'm not making it about Israel, but they kind of made themselves about Israel. Israel made itself about Israel. And there's this weird stuff going on with Ted Cruz on how he's defending. It's really odd and it feels wrong. It's not America first. Who's representing America first? Who's representing the American people? It sure isn't Trump anymore. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene. And now she's resigning, which you guys heard. Donald Trump this morning posts on Truth Social, Marjorie Traitor Brown. The dude is just so cringe. Because of the plummeting poll numbers and not wanting to face primary challenger with a strong Trump endorsement, you think your endorsement's going to have any weight against MGT? Buddy, you are so disconnected. It's wild. Who got to him? Who got to him? He says, where she would have no chance of winning, has decided to call it quits. Her relationship with the worst Republican congressman in decades, Tom Massey of Kentucky, who is also America First, also known as Rand Paul Jr., because he voted against the Republican Party and really good legislation, did not help her. For some reason, primarily that I refused to never return her ending barrage of phone calls, Marjorie Taylor went bad. Nevertheless, I will always appreciate Marjorie and thank you for her service in our country. President DJT. Are you kidding me? This is how you treat your devout, most loyal person who fought tooth and nail for you? This is the kind of person that you are? A backstabbing? It's just absolutely insane. So the internet's blowing up. And now the better question is, where do we go from here? What's the map on representation? We don't have representation here in Oregon. We don't have any representation. Everybody's doing these signatures, which if you haven't signed yet, go to notaxor.com. We have to stay on the defense because that's what we're always doing, defending our rights versus proactively, offensively asserting our rights. We're always left rallying together on these signatures, but it is important. You need to make sure to go to notaxor.com, find the location, and go sign today. We'll be right back on the other side. All right. So I'm just absolutely, aside from myself, this Marjorie Taylor thing is just absolutely insane. Not saying it's the end of the world. I'm not trying to be all black-pilled and, that the country's over. But I'm not seeing a path. I'm going to have to take some time to digest on what the path is because it feels like anytime there's real movement, anytime there's real shift or change from the Agenda 2030 agenda and overall the Agenda 2050 agenda, and we try to skate off of that path, which, keep in mind, consists of no personal property, you don't own anything, you will own nothing and be happy, as Klaus Schwab would say. That is the future that is barreling down for your children. That is the absolute slavery destitute life that they will live. And it will be as quickly as a transformation as it is as COVID was. You were to ask somebody in 2019, early 2019, what if the government were to do lockdowns and invoke all this weird psychosis on the public and make everybody wear a mask, and then you can't eat at a restaurant unless you put a mask on, and then they're going to roll out some secret bioweapon government project, which essentially is what it is. And they will wave that in front of you, and they will hold that your life hostage until you do that, and then basically put their thumb on the entire population for 2 years. Parallel construct, destroy all the restaurants, consolidate the economy, overshadow, arrest a bunch of people that were peacefully protesting in the Capitol for a fraudulent election, do all this stuff. Everybody would have been like, you're freaking crazy. This is the United States of America. That's never going to happen. Well, look at you now. Look at you now. Do any of you guys actually read what they have in store for this country and the world? Does anybody read, or are we all caught up following the drama going on TV and, winning these little tiny battles and fighting each other and fighting the left and fighting the Democrats? Does anybody actually know where we're headed? If you study this, then you would be like, holy crap, they are doing this. They are incrementally moving the ball forward toward a complete tyrannical slave state where you're captured in a digital space where you're monitored, tracked, controlled if you don't comply and say what you're supposed to say and do what you're supposed to do according to them, which, keep in mind, will be changing ever so frequently. The new word of the day to say today is banana. And anybody that doesn't say banana, you lose 10 points on your social credit score, which could make or break you because you've gotten in trouble in the past saying the wrong word, doing the wrong thing. We saw your secret chat messages on your phone between you and your friend. And that's a no-no. This is a warning, but you'll lose 10 points. And if you say anything about this, if you do anything about this, you'll lose another 10 points. Do you know that that's part of the future? Do you know why they're running the electric grids and rolling out the electric vehicles and the electric cars? It's not for green energy. It's for control. Because you can't just go drive across the country, fill up at gas stations and just keep going and travel. You have to stop and charge your battery for a long period of time if you want to go on any long trips. But there's another thing that's tied in with it, which also is a grave concern, and that's the establishment of Starlink and the global grid infrastructure that's being blasted into the atmosphere. And it's convenient for internet, but it's also a tracking device, tracking system, tracking infrastructure. So your Tesla could have other and additional tracking devices in it that could monitor and control you. And think about it. You can't get anywhere. You can't maneuver outside of that grid. Say, for example, they say, hey, we're going to sell you this vehicle, but it can only travel in this area, but we'll give you a discount. Well, heck yeah, I'll take the discount. I'm freaking broke because I'm spending all my money on groceries. I went to the grocery store the other day. Hardly bought anything. It's $100. $100. $100 here, $100 here, $100 here. Yeah, I'm a money tree. I'm made out of money. No problem. So do you see what's happening? And here's the thing. We're all guilty. We are all guilty to let this thing get this far, to put so much faith into one man, all while not building our own lives around fixing whatever we need to do, holding people accountable, being outspoken, being out comfortable. Instead of devoting our time watching sports, we should be out getting signatures for this egregious bill that they're trying to ram through and tax everybody. But what really should happen is all the citizens should be out promoting don't pay taxes anymore. We really shouldn't be paying taxes because it's just going to crap. And we don't have any representation there. Trump is attacking the only people that actually are good. Rand Paul is one of the best voting individuals in Congress compared to so many other ones. Rand Paul should be in the Trump administration. Where do you think a lot of those ideas that Trump ran on came from? Where do you think a lot of the infrastructure for this movement that Trump is hijacking came from? Ron Paul, Rand Paul. They were the pioneers on a lot of this stuff. So the better question is what really happened to him. And I don't want to make this whole thing about Trump and, what we're talking about. It's just, do you guys hear what I'm trying to say? Do you hear, where do we go? What do we do? We've literally, and I'm not saying that we're defeated. I'm just saying I see the next wave that's coming because the MAGA movement was a force to be reckoned with, and essentially it's been dismantled. So what's the next shift? I think we're going to get moved into regional parties, regional infrastructure. People are going to turn a blind eye to any and all support. I believe right now Trump's poll numbers are going to get even lower. And all he talks about is the stock market and the economy. Guess what? The stock market is not the economy. The stock market does not represent the economy. The stock market is so inflated by a handful of companies that they drive the stock market. If you pull them out, then the stock market's not doing that great. But the day-to-day people are struggling every single day. And that's why the Democrats are so up in arms. That's why they're so upset. Because at least we could agree that things aren't going so well. There's 563 people that were arrested in Portland from ICE. And that's been blowing up on the news, and everybody's just up in arms about it. And Hillsborough has declared an emergency, but not really declared an emergency. They proposed it, but it actually isn't an actual declaration if you read into it. But they wanted to announce on the news that they declared an emergency, even though they didn't actually declare an emergency. Oregon's ranked one of the top 3 states in the country that rely on SNAP benefits. Well, that's because we're a sanctuary city. That's because they allow all the illegals to come here. I know people that work for the Department of Human Services. And they said they'd have these huge influxes of people that don't even speak English that just got here, and they give them everything. And that was going on during the Biden administration. It was going on during the Trump administration. It's still going on to a degree, but it's definitely cut back a lot, which is great. I mean, that's the one thing that we can give Trump is that he closed up the border. Okay, so we're going to move on. I want to talk about some other things because it's really depressing, but I just want to amplify some of the good things that people are doing and the importance of looking within, preserving yourself, your family, and start to get prepared because I think we are headed toward some of the darkest times this country has ever seen. I think COVID was a walk in the park for Oregonians compared to what's going to happen. We are one giant event away from them trying to lock down the state, set up checkpoints to get out of the state, and essentially declaring sovereignty as a new country and defying completely against the Trump administration. I think that we might see that in our lifetime. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back, guys. Joshua Michael, Non-Compliant America. Thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure to check out our new site. It's news.noncompliantamerica.com. And it's just articles, things that I find interesting, things that, we're writing about. We're just trying to create a better base. You can also check out the show and spread this show from there as well. So I encourage you guys all to go to news.noncompliantamerica.com or follow me on X at noncompliantaf. So Mike Adams, always doing great work. He's doing phenomenal work. As you know, he has brightu.ai, which is the AI that I like to use because it is not tracking, it's nonpartisan, but it pulls from really interesting areas of the internet that it gives you more of a hardline fact. Plus, it also cites resources and has like a bibliography for all the AI. Well, he's rolling something out, a new AI that is going to be able to write books for you. Books. Which is great because you could have a huge library of books based on information that you're interested in, and you can essentially write anything. So he's getting ready to launch that beta test, which is great. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to write a couple books, on some things that I'm interested in. And what's cool is you can just download the books and have them after, which is great. Another thing that's trending right now, Mike Adams is actually talking about it again, is Tina Peters. As you know, Tina Peters is still locked up and in prison. This is another thing that easy Trump win could have had, is free Tina Peters. She's an old lady sleeping in jail beds. She's got health problems, and she is an absolute hero. And he freed all the January 6ers, pardoned all of them, but he didn't Tina Peters. Tina Peters was one of the reasons why the people were at January 6th, because she exposed how they were stealing the election in 2020. It's absolutely insane that that's not going on, that didn't happen. Another thing I want to mention is some great work that Candace Owens is doing. I know this is a kind of a short segment that we have left, but Candace Owens is really breaking some serious news in regards to the Charlie Kirk assassination. She's been tracking planes. She has recently posted, and I want to read this because I think it's very important. She's recently found the planes that were going in and out with the military personnel that were strangely flying around the Charlie Kirk leading up to, after, where they went, who they're connected to, and everything else. And she has funneled it down to a spotlighted area with France and some type of affiliation with France. She hasn't concluded anything indefinitely, but she wanted to spread this urgent message because I think she's doing phenomenal work. We have to find out who was actually behind the Charlie Kirk assassination. And she's not stopping. And so what's great is that this isn't JFK back in the 1960s. This is modern era, and she has devoted her life completely to figuring this out. And all the pushback that's happening, everybody's trying to discredit her, saying that she's lying about this or she's misquoting this or anything else. If you actually go and fact check what she's saying, she is completely over the target. So don't listen to what Mike Levin says or, Ben Shapiro or any of these people trying to discredit her because she is absolutely 100% over the target as far as following the leads, going where the investigation goes, following things like where did these planes come from, who was on those planes, everything else. Okay, so here's her announcement. She posted this just a while ago. Said, urgent, 2 days ago, I was contacted by a high-ranking employee of French government after determining that this person's position in proximity to the French couple, I had deemed the information they gave me to be credible enough to share publicly in the event that something happens. In short, this person claims that Macrons have executed upon Macrons have executed upon and paid for my assassination. Yes, you read that correctly. More specifically, that the green light was given to a small team in National Gendarmerie Intervention Group. I am told that there is one Israeli that is on the assassination squad, and the plans were formalized. Again, this person provided concrete proof that they are well placed within the French government apparatus. Future to this point, this person claims that Charlie Kirk's assassin trained with the French Legion 13th Brigade with multi-state involvement. Journalist Xavier Passard life is also at risk, which is the individual that she interviewed who exposed the ties to Israel. This is deadly serious. The head of the state of France apparently wants us both dead and has authorized professional units to carry this out. I ask that every person retweet this and share this. I do not know who is in the American government that can be trusted, since the source claimed our leaders are aware. But I have more specific information, which is definitely verifiable, should they care to reach out to me. To the brave official in France who did this because they were so moved by the evil of Charlie's public execution to risk their own life, may God truly bless you. Let all be revealed. It gives me goosebumps. Can you feel the time that we're in? Can you feel the transformation that's happening? The people are absolutely awake to what's going on. But we've been so betrayed in so many avenues that we don't know which direction to go. But they are finding themselves all over. Ryan Mata is doing a great job. Owen Schroyer, phenomenal job. Despite whatever issues he had with Alex, Owen Schroyer is doing a phenomenal job. I don't know if you guys are following him at Owen Schroyer on X, but he's doing great. Nick Fuentes is suddenly at the helm of a giant Groyper movement, which I think the dissension of the MGT thing and some of the betrayal that Trump is doing, the Groypers are the new force to be reckoned with, which is why they've been attacking Nick Fuentes so much. By simply just trying to emphasize, again, notice the theme here. Anybody that's promoting America first, that's acting on behalf of America, trying to stand up for Americans, for preserving whatever we have left of the Constitution, is being attacked everywhere. They're being attacked by both sides. They're being attacked by the Rhino Republicans, the neocons, the Zionists, the left-wing radicals, the Democrats, the socialist Democrats of America, everywhere. So what's really going on? And then the better question is, and maybe you guys could write me, jm@noncompliantamerica.com. What do we do? How do we... Obviously, we just have to take one step at a time. But where are our leaders at? Are they incrementally getting sifted out and taken out? Figuratively and literally? Isn't it starting to make more sense that the Charlie Kirk assassination at the time that it happened especially with the amount of betrayal that's happening within the Trump movement. Are you seeing the correlation here? Because Charlie would have been a huge contender against what's going on right now. Thanks for listening. Joshua Michael, Noncompliant America. Make sure to check me out, news.noncompliant.